Hello everyone, this is Valid here, and today I've got a tutorial for you on how to make a shifting floor witch trap design for 1.14. This is actually a smart shifting floor, which I haven't actually personally seen in a long time. If there are some out there, I couldn't find them, so I designed one to show you how to build. So if we come take a look down here, I think I was a little too close to see the spawning, but we should see some falling down. Yep, there we go. Plenty falling down right now. In my most recent items per hour test, I got exactly 3,615, which we can see here. We got one full double chest, completely filled with stacks. And then this is the leftover. If you add up all the math on that, I'll let you do that on your own, but it should be exactly 3,615, excuse me. But without further ado, let me show you how to make this new smart shifting floor design. Alright, well the first thing you gotta do obviously is get yourself a witch hut, and yours should come with a spawn-proof perimeter kind of like this, and if it doesn't, well, you're gonna have to go light up some caves, slab some stuff, flood it, do whatever to get all the mobs nearby where you're gonna be AFK at to stop spawning. But once you've done that and you're ready to build your witch hut, you're gonna come back to your witch hut, which should still be fully built, and we're gonna mark out some stuff first. So we're going to start off with above the roof. I'm just going to go ahead and start getting my platforms prepared anyways, but we're going to need to mark out our spots. So we're going to go one above the roof, put a soul sand there, put a block out where this part of the porch is. That's where the edge of our bounding box is for the hut. Build across. It goes up to the edge of the roof where that pokes out here. I'm going to alternate that just because it's going to get prepared for our shifting floors. This is alternating stripes on the 7 wide side. So there'll be, 7 solid blocks, 7 soul sands, 7 solid blocks, so on and so forth. If you do it on the 9 wide side, you're going to need to build your redstone on the other side, which uses extra resources, which there's really no reason to. So make sure you build your stripes on the 7 wide side. But anyways, so that's going to kind of mark out our area. Let's just go ahead and fill that. All right, and from that floor, you're going to come down 3 more blocks. Break out those 2 in between, and that's going to be your second floor. And then again, come down 3 more blocks, break out the 2 in between, and that's going to be your bottom floor. We already have the dimensions kind of marked out at the top, so I don't need to go ahead and fill those in. But now you can go ahead and tear down your witch hut. Alright, when your witch hut is torn down, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. And then all you're going to need to do is go ahead and fill in your spawn floors. So like I said earlier, it's going to be alternating stripes of soul sand and solid blocks. Alright. When all is said and done, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. The next step is going to be getting our spawn floors ready for the redstone. So the first thing we're going to want to do is on one of these 7 wide sides where the solid blocks are, you're going to put fence gates along every single one of these blocks and open them up. Do that on every single floor. Alright, and the next thing you're going to want to do is get some trapdoors, and you're going to need a trapdoor for every single one of these blocks. Come to the side where you have the fence gates opened, and you're going to want to be facing, away from that, this side away from them, and then open your trapdoors on that side. And you're going to want one of these on every single block on all 3 spawn platforms. Alright, once we got all of that in place, we're ready to start putting in our redstone. So the first thing you're going to want to do is come over to the side of the fence gates, and we're going to start at the bottom. We're going to come up by 2 temporary blocks right here, and we're going to stick a piston on the back of that block right there facing into the fence gate, and bring that all the way across. Oh, come on. Now, really, it's the same thing over and over 7 times, essentially, but we're just going to go ahead and show you the entire thing. Alright, so put your line of solid blocks on the back of that. We're going to put a repeater on this block right here. Build a little T shape here. Actually going to come up by 2 blocks. Perfect. All right, on the back of this topmost block, we're going to have redstone torches. Coming back down here, we're going to need to finish off our T shape. That's why I'm saying it shape, duh. We're going to have comparators off the back of those. Get yourself some hoppers. We're going to actually just put a solid block temporarily, a line of solid blocks temporarily. But hoppers pointing into all those blocks. Break those blocks out. Connect the hoppers to make a hopper clock. Where did that one place? All right. All right. Now on the top of that hopper, the backmost one, you're going to want to put a line of solid blocks here. And grab your repeaters again and put the repeaters facing into those solid blocks on the back of the, or on the top of the closer hoppers, rather. And before you forget, you're going to need to put a single item into every single one of these hoppers. 5, 7. All right, perfect. And then we're going to need a tripwire hook. I didn't have in my inventory for some reason. And on the same block where the redstone torches are, on the opposite side, place your tripwire hooks. And that's it for this entire side. And then the only thing you need to really do for this side from now on, obviously, you're going to need to repeat it 2 more times, just starting again where the fence gate is right here. So let's grab our solid blocks again, come back by 2, and you would just pretty much start again from this point. All right, when you finish building up all 3 of those sides, or all 3 of the platforms or redstone on that side, you should have something that looks a lot like this. So we're ready to go ahead and start on the other side now. So on this side, what we're going to need to do is come back 1, 2, 3 blocks, break those 2 out. Those are just temporary. Put our pistons, one with a block space away from the platform. And I'm just going to go ahead and build all of those over. It's going to be the same thing over, just like the other side. All right, now come back over to where you had your solid block again. Come back 4, 5 more blocks, I believe, and break out those 3. We're going to put a sticky piston here and build those across all the way again. All right. In front of those sticky pistons, we're going to need some redstone blocks. And then where we have these 2 solid blocks right here, we're just going to kind of fill that in all the way again. So from here, what we're going to have is we're going to put a repeater on 3-tick delay. All right. And we're going to have our comparators here. Take our hoppers again. We're just going to want a temporary block. These are where it's going to be nearly the same as the other side. Not exactly, but these are where our hopper clocks are going to go. Alrighty, perfect. Put our solid blocks on the back, heaters right here, and don't put the items in just quite yet. Now over here on top of these sticky pistons, we don't want a solid block here. This has to be a slab, but I'm just going to put a temporary solid block there, put a slab here, and then kind of fill in above these with the slabs. All right, get your solid blocks back out, and then make it a little V shape right here. All right, so what we're going to want to do now is take our repeaters again, put them facing towards the back where the hoppers are. All right, put our redstone torches on the backs of these blocks that power these repeaters right here on top of the hoppers. And then our tripwire hooks are going to go on this front block. And don't forget to put your items in the back of the hoppers. I just held off on doing that because I didn't start the clock off before they were locked. Alright, now this entire bottom row is actually ready for string. I normally wait to put in the string till last just in case like you accidentally get stuck in your own trap. But we can go ahead and place a couple of these rows in just to kind of, as a proof of concept that it's working. Can you let me in, please? Thank you. I'm just going to kind of put 3 rows in for now just to kind of show you that it all works. Okay, so we got 3 rows in right now. As you can see, I'm over top of the first one. It's nice and noisy. Setting off this, and it's shifting. Nice. Already pushes me off very quickly. All right, now if we go in here, only the second one's full. I'm kind of hitting both now, but only 2 are firing off. Slide over. Now these 2 are, but none of them are really activating the other ones, and that's for a very specific reason. That's why we didn't have the solid blocks over top of that sticky piston, and that's why we didn't put any sort of solid blocks over top of these pistons right here. Because if we would have, then these repeaters would power the adjacent hopper, or I mean the adjacent pistons, and we don't want that to happen. So while we are, stop, please. While we are still on the subject, before we completely finish it, when we start mob proofing the redstone, we can't put solid blocks on top of any of these pistons. We have to use slabs, and that should be good enough. None of these blocks make light, except for these redstone torches back here, but those aren't close enough to matter. So we just need to make it so mobs can't spawn on top of them, and the witches can't walk out. And, excuse me, these slabs should do just nicely for that. Let's go ahead and place slabs on top of all these pistons here, and the sticky pistons on the back row, okay, because they already have slabs right there, so that should block any mobs from spawning. And if you want to go ahead and just where the redstone blocks are and that gap in between, you can also just go ahead and fill in slabs here. We're going to need to do some more, but it's easier just to put those slabs in right now while you're building it. So anyways, we can go ahead and build up the rest of the redstone now. It's going to be the same thing repeated over and over. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alrighty, when everything is all said and done, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Exactly like this. And the only thing you have left to do is connect the tripwire, which I've already actually done. And if you can see here, I put in those slabs above the pistons and the redstone blocks, and where the redstone blocks would shift to. And the pistons on this side as well. I was going to say that till later, but it's a little bit easier to put those slabs in and get that area spawn proof while you're building it rather than after it's already built. So, yeah, excuse me on that. So the next thing we're going to need to do is frame in our trap and build a roof. So starting from where the regular pistons are, I'm just going to build a little bit of a frame and just repeat that around here. We're going to come up by 3 on this one as well. Alright, once you make a little bit of a frame, just put your solid blocks on the same axis as the spawn platforms, and then bring them all the way out to where the pistons are. And then from here, we want to make a roof starting up first because we're not going to block the sunlight, the ceiling that we're going to do for that is actually going to be the slabs above this. But for the farm itself, we need to only have it too tall, or else the witches are going to try to jump over the trapdoors and mess up your top spawning platform. So we need to make a roof of solid blocks here on top of the top spawning platform to prevent that from happening. Alright, and that also blocks this frame, and the roof also blocks the witches from being able to get out the back here because we have these slabs here, which make it only a block and a half tall so they can't get out. Now what we're going to want to do is do the same thing on the side, but instead of putting it on foot level, we're going to do it on head level here. Keep that here, here, and on the other side. All right, the next thing we're going to need to do is get our ready. This is going to block out all sunlight. So what we're going to need to do here is from the edge of where the actual spawn platforms are. So as you can see, it's one in from the ceiling on this block right here. Do that the same here, here, and here. All right, and from those, we're going to need to come out 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And do that on every single side. All right. Now we're just going to make a big plus sign with these, essentially. All right, once you got this plus sign, you just need to fill all these in, and then for these corner parts, you just need to make it diagonal. Like so. These should all perfectly connect up to the other sides. And then you got to fill that in, and just do that for all these sides, and you will have your perfectly dark roof. All right. You should have a ceiling that looks a bit like this when all is said and done. This is the bare minimum for what you need. You can make it more, and you can already see all the witches falling out. It's beautiful. Not even that far from the spawning platforms either. They're just immediately spawning. So as you can see, we got a spider here. We don't want this spider here. We're gonna one-shot him because we're badasses. That means we got to slab up a bit of the roof. So anything that's, a solid block here, let's go ahead, slab that up. Nothing will spawn on redstone, so you don't need to worry about where the repeaters are. Don't need to worry about any of that, just where these solid blocks are here. Repeat that on the other floors. And obviously all these are blocked because they have other stuff stacked on top of them, so it's just really back solid blocks on top of the hoppers. Then come back over to the other side, it's going to be the same thing here. Just this top spot where the redstone torches are, and then all the blocks on top of the hoppers need to be slabbed. Alright, now everything in there should be spawn-proof from spiders. And if we take a step back, we can see the witches are already going to begin spawning like crazy. Said like crazy. There we go. Alright, so we just need to do one last thing, and that's going to be setting up our drop chute to kill them. I'm not going to be showing you how to create a looting system because this is a shifting floor slash witch farm tutorial, and not a looting slash storage system tutorial. So we're not going to be doing that today. So what we're gonna want to do, I believe witches need a 32 block fall to be able to die. So we're at 71 here, and I'm actually gonna go down to, instead of doing 32 blocks, I'm gonna go down 35. So we're gonna go to 36, and that's just gonna give me a little bit of extra wiggle room to put in a looting system if I, was going to on this tutorial. Let's see, that is 38. We want down 1, 2. Okay, so we're at 36 here. And while we're at it, let's give night vision for an hour. One. Now we can see much better. So on the edge of our frames, we're just going to want to build them down to, at least 32 blocks away. I would suggest doing a little bit of extra for some wiggle. All right. Well, I set up just I kind of framed this in with glass and everything, and I just put a floor of slabs, and that's just to prevent other mobs from spawning. what you could do for a storage system, or a looting system rather, just, put down a sea of hoppers, or you could do a hopper minecart system or something, I don't know. But make sure you kind of slab up this area because that ceiling is going to make mobs spawn like crazy down on this platform as well. So either got to light it up or, make it slabs and it's all looking good. But as you can see, the drops are piling up quickly. If we go ahead and kill all of them, they should come back really fast. Well, I just killed all the mobs up there too, but skeleton died. Skeletons and zombies can spawn inside of there, creepers as well, because if they choose a pack spawning location outside of that, they can spawn inside of it. It doesn't happen very often, but that's one thing you should just kind of look out for. When making your storage and looting system is you will get arrows, bones, and rotten flesh occasionally as well. So make an overflow or something, just so it doesn't clog up your system. There we go. Now the witches are starting to pick back up again. But anyways, so that's it for this tutorial. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed it. It took me a long time to kind of figure out a nice working design that kind of conformed to the space requirements needed for doing a shifting floor in 1. So thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will see you next time.